Nice. Just seeing how my new camera works. What's going on, my beautiful people? Welcome back to my channel. This is A Man's Journey, where we do all things educating me and educating you. I have been reading a ton. Last year I read 22 books in 2020, and this year I am on track to read, I want to say about 30 books, maybe more. I have just completed my 15th book of 2021, and we're in August here, so I still got a couple months to slam out a bunch of good books on the list. So stay tuned. I'm going to be doing much more of these. I apologize for the delay posting. I had to take a step back, recalibrate, and get my senses on what exactly this channel needs to be for me and what it means to the rest of the world and to my audience and what I want to share with you all. So welcome back to myself. So the book we are going to be talking about today is Willpower. This is Willpower. It's by Roy F Baumeister and John Tierney. Yes, sir. This is Rediscovering the Greatest Human Strength. And my goodness, this book was quite the scientific study, if you will. I was joking around with Cicely, my girlfriend, saying this book took willpower to finish. And it's so true, because not to bash on the authors, but this is a very scientific studied based book. We have a lot of experiments, a lot of studies they refer to. So if that sort of thing bores you, you may want to look for like a cliff notes on this thing, or come to my channel. I'll give you all the top notes and things I took away from this book, because although it suffered in entertainment value, it knocked it out of the park in realization that willpower is finite. Willpower is something you can strengthen, but it is also something that depletes rather quickly if you're not aware of it. So that is so interesting to me. And let's start there. Awareness. Awareness builds willpower. And when you are aware of where your willpower is depleting, what decisions you're making every day that maybe require more willpower than others, right? Like if you're going on a crash diet and you're saying, I'm not eating meat for the whole week or the whole month or 6 months, or you're saying, I'm cutting out all sugar, this is it, crash diet, I'm never going to do sugar again. You don't realize how much effect that willpower you're spending on getting rid of sugar, how much of that willpower is being sucked into that venture in your life and depleting from everything else. During this time of diet crashing, or whatever it's called, you could get into a lot of strain in your relationships. Maybe you get fired from a job in the same week, or you get in a fight with your spouse and things blow up there, and you're on to a new relationship because you just couldn't stand what they were doing. Your willpower is being spent on this new adventure that you have decided to go on. To help me with this video, I actually did take a slew of notes. Yes, a slew. To help me stay on track, because there was just so much information, and I wanted to get you guys the proper information from the book so I didn't exaggerate anything or lead you astray. Because there's some topics in here that definitely could be controversial, maybe could have some pushback by people with differing opinions. I am not married to these opinions. I am fascinated in psychology and fascinated in human behavior and what drives people to do things, including myself. I have my own things that I do daily and the things I work through. Okay, so let's start here. It's the best way to do this. I'll hold out the book maybe, and we'll talk off my notes. So first of all, willpower comes from good habits in your life. Good sleep, managing stress, diet, how much are you eating? You know, are you giving your body what it needs? Your body needs a certain amount of glucose to function properly. And in a society of how to be the fittest, how to be the thinnest, sugar obsessed, because sugar has deceived us all, and we are now aware of the monster in the closet, not all sugar is bad. In fact, your body needs a good amount of sugars. I do not think fruit is the enemy here. Having a giant 24-ounce glass of orange juice, that's an issue. But eating an orange and an apple and having some cherries, getting fruit in your diet is extremely good for you. Good fibers, good vitamins, good nutrition. So the scare around sugar has been a bit blown out of proportion, so it's good that we bring back the healthy talk of the sugars your body does need. And in fact, the sugars that affect your willpower. One of the things that I want to go into, and I guess is the first note on my list, is that special time of the month for women, what we all refer to as a PMS. This is a very stressful time for women. It's a touchy subject for me to even kind of go into because I'm not a woman. So like, really, what do I know? I have never experienced what you experience. Please be patient with me as I try to describe a sensitive subject. When women do go through a lot of stressful moments during this time, their hormones are ramped up and their body is going through a process that is biological. So I think it's good that we talk about it. Even though I'm a man speaking on it, I just want to bring awareness to this time of the month to hopefully help someone out in recognizing some things about their body and themselves. There is a phase called the luteal phase. This is in the second half of the menstrual cycle. This is after the start of ovulation and ends with the first day of your period. This time requires the female body to channel high amounts of energy to the ovaries and related activities to produce more feminine hormones. This causes major cravings, and those cravings come from an instant gratification of glucose, which your body is starving of during this time because it is producing all these hormones. In the society we live in, where it's a lot of structure around being thin, counting calories, limiting your food intake, women get a lot of pressure and create pressure on themselves. Because of this, they may not be getting the right nutrition during this time. And I think it's great to build awareness around this, because if you are dealing with this time of the month and you feel the stress coming on, or cramps, or you notice a behavior switch, or you're getting in fights with your husband or your boyfriends or girlfriends or whatever it may be, you feel there's a shift, like, oh my God, everything's falling apart. I think it would behoove you to take a look at your diet and what you're eating. And when you're going through these cravings for glucose, I think it's easy to turn towards the foods our guilty pleasures, right? Like ice cream or a Snickers bar or something like that. But finding healthier alternatives to get that glucose you need and to build sustaining energy and to gain control of that willpower that may be depleting through this difficult time. Now, I am not trying to paint women as the demons of willpower here, or the lack of willpower. In fact, this book goes on to say we're not here to exaggerate that women aren't capable of willpower during this time. In fact, the majority of women cope with this time incredibly well, with everything that's going on in your body at the time. The majority of violent crimes and drug and alcohol abuse cases and addiction falls to men in society. So this is not to paint women with a red label like they can't control themselves. I'm just simply interested in the study and what this book had to say to kind of provide some help and some awareness that maybe there's some things you could adjust in your diet to help you during this time and not slash those calories during those days. Okay, let's see what else we got. This one is a big one for me. I think I'm gonna put the book down. It's been enough time with the book in my hands. This one's a big one for me because it talks about how to-do lists can deplete willpower. And I have been really into to-do lists lately. I've been trying to optimize my goals and set so much for myself every week. And on Sunday night, I sit down with my planner and I am writing down 25 things I want to do and all these amazing goals I have for 6 months, maybe even a year out. And I'm just like writing these broad goals and these things I want to accomplish. And by the end of my planner writing, on Monday morning when I wake up, it is stressful. I look at a list that is 30 to-dos long. It's overwhelming. A lot of times it causes this stress. And actually, this is what this book goes into, is that long to-do lists can actually deplete your willpower to accomplish those goals and set you on some negative procrastination habits where you're constantly avoiding it because you just have too many things on your list and maybe they're too broad. So this book says you need to not focus on how many goals, but focus on one goal and break that goal into sub goals that are very accomplishable, like small tasks that lead to a greater picture. This is clear-cut goals. Do not make broad goals. They talk about blocking out time for hyper-focus. And I've read this in other books. Atomic Habits mention this as well. And it's something I've adopted, which is a 90-90, what is it, a 90-90-1 rule? Something like that. I'm paraphrasing, I probably get the details of this wrong, but the way I've taken it is I will do 90 minutes of hyper-focused activity towards one of my goals. So let's say it's creating this YouTube video. I will plan out from 10:30 a.m. to 12 o'clock noon is hyper activity focused towards making this YouTube video. I'll record the video, I'll study for the video, maybe I need to read more of my book, maybe I need to edit. Doesn't matter, but what does matter is taking that phone and putting it somewhere you cannot reach it. Get rid of the phone. The phone should be on silent mode. Some of you may need to airplane it. We live in a world where we always are connected. We always are available. 0.1% chance that an emergency would happen to where you would need to be available at that minute. Give yourself 90 minutes free. Give yourself the 90-minute hyper-focused attention towards something that deserves it. Your phone can wait. Your messages can wait. Your notifications can wait. Your mom, your grandma, your best friend Susie, I don't know. Whomever is on the other end of that can wait 90 minutes. I'm telling you guys, 90 minutes of hyper-focus towards your musicianship, a guitar or a piano, or your singing, or your YouTube channel, your book reading, your studying. It is so beneficial. And when you can put that phone in the other room, you are going to be a superstar. And it's going to be hard at first, but you will get used to it. And you'll build willpower around it. I believe in you. Let's see. The next thing this book talked about that really stuck out to me was something called the Zeigarnik effect. I may not be saying that correct, so forgive me. Zeigarnik effect. Zeigarnik effect. This is the ability to forget memories once the task is complete. I have struggled with this and didn't have a term for it or realized what it was. They did some studies, particularly this guy, Zeigarnik. I don't have the details on who he was. Maybe I'll provide a little detail here to give you guys more specifics. But he ran across an issue in a restaurant where he had this amazing waiter. You know, this guy took all the orders, didn't write down a single thing. They had a table of 6 or 8 people. He got every order right, all the drinks right, knew exactly where to put the plates, perfect memory. This guy was just absolutely A+. They left the restaurant and forgot that they left a purse of one of their friends, some item at the restaurant, and they went back and they were looking for the waiter. And they came up to the waiter and said, "Oh my God, we were looking for the purse. You know, we were just sitting there about 2 hours ago. You remember us, right?" The guy had no memory, no recollection of who these people were. He had wiped the memory clean. His task had been completed and he had moved on. He had 10 more tables to sit that day. He had trained himself to complete tasks and forget, to reset that hard drive and onto a new task. Where this draws into our lives is when you have too many incomplete tasks, this can bog down your memory. This can bog down your cognitive function. And I think we all know what this feels like. You've got this to-do list and 29 out of the 30 things are not getting done, and you just have all this stuff on your mind, and it just gets more and more stressful. It just builds and builds, and you know, it almost gets to the point where you get destructive with your procrastination, where you're like, "Oh, I need to watch a television show," or, "Oh my God, I'm just gonna put on movies, you know? Let's just waste away the day with movies because I just can't think about it. I just have too much." And I get stuck in this process. I have gotten stuck in this process a lot, where it's just too overwhelming with how many tasks I have to get done. Another example of this that you can notice in your own life is if you hear part of a song, your brain wants to complete that song. It's very interesting because it'll play over and over in your head and you're just like, "Oh my goodness, I cannot get this out of my head. I gotta listen to it." The reason why you need to listen to it is because your brain is craving completion. Your brain is craving for this song to be complete, for you to have the full picture in your mind so it can move on and forget it. So I think we can all relate to that. So make your goals concise, make them small, and stick to them and complete them before you add more incomplete things to your desk. It piles up, it clutters your mind, and it slows you down and depletes your willpower to even get to the first task. So keep it simple. One of the chapters talks about decision making. Decision making depletes willpower. Too many conscious decisions will cause decision fatigue. So when you are making a lot of conscious decisions all day long, your work is very taxing. It requires you to be mentally on, mentally there. These are not subconscious watch TV choices. These are, you got to be on it. You got to be a surgeon. You got to be the dentist. You got to be a PA on set. You are active. You are there. You are making boom, boom, boom decisions. Maybe you're a director. You constantly, every detail, dot, 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 dot. At the end of the day, you have something called decision fatigue. And this is very real. I've noticed this in my own life, and this brought it to my awareness because it's very true. It's like there's a saying that like nothing good happens after 10 p.m. Nothing good happens after midnight. I don't know what the saying is, but it's very true. Once you get into decision making late at night, those are the poor choices. That's when you grab the Oreos. That's when you grab the cheesecake. That's when you grab the alcohol or the cigarettes, or you know, you have this fling you want to forget about. There, you know, you call up an ex, you make all these poor decisions because you are so stressed out with your decision making during the day. What is the solution to this? You need to be aware of it. I would say that is like the biggest thing. If you can be aware that your decision making is compromised late at night, it will build awareness to not making those decisions. Maybe not texting that ex-boyfriend, that ex-girlfriend at 11 p.m. because it's probably not going to result in choices that you're going to be proud of the next day. Not keeping Oreos in the house, not stocking your fridge up with beer at the beginning of the week. You're going to unconsciously reach for these bad habits because you've been making intense decisions all day long. Let's see here. An interesting study that they did was in courtrooms, actually, with judges. And judges have to make intense decisions all day long with people's lives, their livelihood, whether they go into jail, what their fines are going to be, all these like extreme decisions. And what's interesting is they found that the forgiving, light decisions, like okay, instead of sending this man to jail, we're going to put him on parole, or something like a lighter sentencing, came at the very beginning of the day. Like the first few court cases were lighter sentencing. The next few resulted in heavy-handed decisions like sending this person to jail or giving them larger fines. What's very interesting, remember in the PMS conversation when the judge had a lunch break and he got to replace his glucose levels, his willpower got replaced as well. So now after his lunch break, he actually had back to these lighter, more forgiving sentences. So it's very interesting that we need to notice that glucose has a direct correlation with how friendly we are, what our decision making will be, how patient we are. Some people may need to make adjustments to have snacks on hand all day long. I'm not saying eat unhealthy, but have some good snacks throughout the day that enable you to keep a higher level of willpower. In fact, your body will function better, I believe, on a multiple snack day. So let's keep going. I'm going to take a deep breath. Breathing through these long videos. This is going to be a long one. I love it. Self-awareness is a medicine. These are truths to help us gain control of our willpower. What is the greatest medicine? It is self-awareness. And I think this is something that people are gaining a lot more awareness in 2021, is the fact that self-awareness is so important. The ability to meditate, the ability to sit with yourself and realize, how do I feel today? What's going on? The ability to structure your life around change and say, that's not fueling me any longer. I need to do something different with my life. Self-awareness is a medicine. I love it. This is amazing. So what are some self-awareness things that we can do to help in our willpower and our building? There are a lot of apps that create self-awareness. Almost all of these smartphones now have things that can track your sleep, track your screen time. Maybe you need to understand, oh my goodness, I spend 9 hours a day screen time on my phone. Maybe I can get that to 8 hours or 7 hours. Maybe I can get that to 4 hours. The great thing is on the weekend, sometimes I can get my screen time down to 3 hours. Like that's amazing for me. I think I average about let's be fair, 5 hours. I'm going to be honest, at least 5 hours a day. But during the weekend, I try to be more active, stay off my phone, be a little more present, and stay away from posting and social media too much, so I can get that down to 3 hours. Like, what are the incremental changes? But what starts that change is the self-awareness to know I do spend 5 hours a day. I do spend 6 hours a day. I do spend 8 hours. What is it? And now you can build off of that. There are productivity apps that you can download, fitness, sleep trackers, step trackers. In the world of Fitbits and Apple Watches, I think it's so great to get one. I lost mine, but I used to wear it all the time. I love seeing how much sleep I got. What was my sleep quality? How can I be improving that? Am I getting 10,000 steps a day? What was my heart rate? How healthy am I? Like, build awareness to what your day really holds. It is such a key to unlocking your health and unlocking the success in your life. One thing that this book touched on, which I've heard in other habit books, I think Atomic Habits touched on this. I'll have to review that book. If you have a bad habit you're trying to break, maybe it's drinking, maybe it's smoking, maybe it's eating Cheetos, I don't know, something, whatever it is, you're trying to break a bad habit that's pulling you down. One of the techniques you can do is to grab a mirror and do this habit in front of the mirror. This may sound ridiculous, but what you are doing is building this self-awareness. You are watching yourself drink that drink. You are watching yourself take that smoke. You are watching yourself eat that Oreo. You are watching yourself maybe call that person or text that person. You are able to see what you are doing in real time. And that's super important. Why did this get brighter? Self-awareness causes you to break unconsciousness. It helps you to break the unconscious habit. There's so many things in our today life, that we are unconsciously doing, and it's because we do not have self-awareness on the issue. This is an incredible aspect of the human mind. This is an incredible ability for our human mind. We are able to brush our teeth and not think about it. We're able to walk on earth and not think about our balance. We are able to drive a car and not think about crashing all the time. It is essential to our living. It is essential to a stress-free life to build in the subconscious. But this subconscious can also stray you down a road of bad habits and destructive tendencies towards your life. This is why, if you have something you want to change, do it right in front of yourself. Put that mirror up and say, all right, we're going to do this. And I'm going to do it with myself. And let's watch you do it. This is crucial for self-awareness. An important thing on this book is not to just talk about willpower and how it depletes in our day, but also to talk about how can we strengthen our willpower, and is it possible? And the answer is yes. So yay, cheers. We are able to strengthen our willpower. We are able to strengthen our willpower through first self-awareness, which we just talked about, but second, we are able to strengthen our willpower through the subconscious. And this is an interesting thing I found on this book that I knew, but it was just a new way to look at it, and it was so refreshing. And it is the thought pattern behind when you build the subconscious, when you build the subconscious on how to do the bench press correctly. Now that form of doing the bench press is in your subconscious. You no longer need to think about your elbow position, your shoulder position, your breathing, where you want the bar placement, how to balance the bar. Now you are focused just on strength building and moving the weight. And when you get into the subconscious with something like bench press, you are now able to make leaps and bounds in your ability to do something. The interesting scientific findings in this book is that our willpower will not be depleted by the subconscious. So when you have something well ingrained in your head, like you're a proficient piano player, you're a masterful pianist, or you're a masterful drummer, or you're a masterful dentist, drilling teeth, you no longer need to use this high-powered decision-making that depletes your willpower. You are able to slip into a subconscious state of your mind and complete these tasks with high proficiency, masterful proficiency. And because you're able to stay in this state, you are actually not depleting your willpower, which is a superhuman effect. So just like we can derail our subconscious to say, hey, I don't want to drink anymore at night, So I'm going to watch myself drink. I'm derailing my subconscious. That is for a positive. But what is also for a positive is to say, I'm going to bed at 9 p.m. every night. I'm going to bed at 9 p.m. every night, even if it sucks, even if I'm laying in bed, wide awake. I am setting myself down at 9 p.m. and we're just going to habitually do this. And we're going to habitually do this until it builds into my subconscious and builds into my body that at 9 p.m. it is time to sleep. And guess what? Once you build that into your subconscious, it is no longer using your willpower to deplete you. Now, what's an extreme example of willpower and strengthening willpower? And that is none other than David Blaine. David Blaine is an incredible magician. I mean, he is much more than a magician. He is a feat artist. He is a strength, willpower master. This man can hold his breath underwater, I think, for over 15 minutes. He has been encased in ice for days on end. It might have been, I don't know, 3 or 4 days or 5 days. I don't know all the specific details of every feat he's done, but please look into David Blaine, YouTube him, and see all the amazing feats and amazing accomplishments that someone can do with the power of willpower. This man studies subconscious. This man studies on how to get little skills deep ingrained in his subconscious so he no longer needs to think about it, and he can achieve things that no human being can, because his ability to separate himself from all the distractions is extremely high once he has a goal set. The interesting thing about him, though, is he talks about after one of these super feats that he does, he gets encased in ice or blah 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 for 4 or 5 days. After that event, he goes on a wild binge of gaining 50, 70 pounds. He drinks, he has no self-control because he is hyper-focused on using every ounce to surpass pain, to surpass any negative emotions that he can't do something, to surpass discomfort, to surpass your brain saying, I don't want to be here anymore, and him having the willpower to say, no, we're staying here. We're not going anywhere. This man has perfected it. But even a man that has perfected the art of willpower has shown that when you devote yourself with that much concentrated willpower to learn how to hold your breath for 15 minutes underwater, the rebound of that is you lose all willpower when you give so much away. So we can learn a lot from David Blaine. So guys, check him out. I'm sure you already heard of him, but if you haven't, go watch something that just strives for humanity in the greatest of ways, in just a weird way, but also a beautiful way that a human being can accomplish something like that. Building through the pain thresholds. Man, David Blaine, he is incredible. Another chapter he talked about is believing in a higher willpower. And they've done scientific studies on people that are religious, people that go to AA, people that see therapists, people that believe in a higher power, a method to all this madness, a purpose at the end of all this. And I think it is critical to find that within yourself. And I'm not judging on what that measure may be. You know, some people need to find a religion. You know, some people need Christianity. Some people need Buddhism. Some people need AA. And this book goes into that. You know, we're not judging on the method, but we are saying that people that involve themselves in a higher power and a higher purpose and really get to know themselves and have that self-awareness and try to do good in their life, that builds willpower. And it's shown in studies in this book. You can look them up. But I just want to drive that home, that whatever you need to find to help support yourself as a human being in this humanity, surround yourself with the good people. Surround yourself with the people that bring you up, that make you feel good, promote you to be the best version of you, whether it's a Hindu temple, whether it's a monastery in some monkhood you need to go travel to for a weekend, whether it's AA, and you just, need to be around people that are like-minded, that are on your same goals, that want the best for you, that want the best for themselves. There's something to be said about that, and there's a lot of studies that go into, if you have a roommate and they're overweight or struggling with some addiction that you struggle with as well, maybe your roommate plays a lot of video games and you've struggled with video game addiction, percentage is higher likely to give in to your addiction, to fall into bad patterns because you are around this person. And I know this is hard because there's people out there that we love that are also fighting against our higher being and what we need for ourselves, but you just got to create boundaries, try to encourage them, don't control them, and just hope that they can make good decisions as well. But sometimes in your life you need to also create that distance physically and surround yourself with good people that are on your journey. Maybe it's fitness. Surround yourself with fitness people. If you want to be a musician, surround yourself with musicians and artists and people that want to play music. Surround yourself with people that love life and they're giving their all. This study also found that AA meetings, it's not so much that the AA meeting is this like supreme technique for getting over alcoholism. It is that you are surrounding yourself with the right people and people that are accountable. Accountability is key, right? So when you're in a religious establishment, which some I don't agree with, that, try to use it as control, but when people use it as love and understanding and acceptance and responsibility, it can be such a beautiful thing, right? So I'm kind of derailed off the previous energy and point I was making, but do you, boo-boo, do you. Whatever floats your boat, experiment. I'm a big believer in experimentation and getting to know yourself. But there is no doubt that a life believing in higher power, higher being, knowing purpose in your life, striving for greatness, striving that you matter, whatever may be the medium to that, you got to find out what works for you. So please get out there, and whether it be an AA meeting or a therapist you need to see, there's no shame in it. We all need help, and sometimes we need perspective to help guide us towards our higher calling. So let's move on here. One of the things they talk about for solutions to willpower and not depleting is creating bright lines in your life to follow. This is often done in religions where you have a book to establish these bright lines that you can follow. But that doesn't work for everyone, and this is why AA meetings can be great. You have 12 steps, you have bright lines to follow. You get a coin with the amount of days you've been sober. There are bright lines and guidelines. Make some structure for your life. Create bright lines that are what you believe in and where you're going to stop. You don't need to drink every time you go out with your friends. If that is your problem, if that's what's getting you in trouble and that's something you want to limit or try to work on in your life, just know you don't need to drink to be cool. You don't need to be out there doing what everyone else is doing if it's not right for you. So figure out what is right for you. Create the bright lines where you stop, Maybe you can't have one drink. So create the bright lines that you're gonna order diet soda or whatever you need to satisfy that initial cue and that initial craving. Maybe it's a sparkling water, maybe it's a Diet Coke, whatever it be. Just know that you can order it, you can still be cool, you can still have fun with your friends. Just create the bright lines that are good for your life, that create the morals you want to live by. And it doesn't have to be from a religion, but You know, a lot of religions help people because they can't create structure in their own life. So they need that guidance. So don't be ashamed. Whatever floats your boat, son. He has a whole chapter on dieting. I kind of went into dieting. A lot of times in dieting, there's something called the what the hell effect. That is where you make one little mistake on your diet, like, shoot, I had the candied pecans on my salad. I couldn't take them off, and now I've had sugar today, and now I've had the extra calories. What the hell? Now you say the day is lost, you've messed up, you ruined your whole diet, so now you go on a full plunge binge for the whole day, eating whatever you want. Bring out the Twinkies, bring out the Oreos, bring out, I don't know why I keep saying Oreos, I don't even eat Oreos. Whatever, Oreos are tempting. Bring out the milkshakes, I'm stopping at Jack in the Box on the way home. I messed up, we'll start again tomorrow. Don't fall victim of this effect. You made one small error on the candied pecans. Your whole day is not lost. You know what I mean? Incremental changes, and don't be your worst judge. Don't be your worst enemy. Make the small changes. Clean environment. It is crucial to clean your environment. Wipe the counters, laundry off the floor, books off the shelf. Don't pay attention to this. I'm at my mom's house. She's got a whole bunch of stuff here I haven't even looked at. But make your bed in the morning. Guys, it starts with the AM. Willpower starts with the first thing you do. I know it's kind of a pain. You wake up, you're groggy, but start your day off with a little bit of success, a little bit of structure. You make your bed every single day. No days off. Build making your bed into your subconscious, and I promise you, from that moment, you will start to make different changes, because that will become easy. I make my bed every morning. I would take my camera off and show you right now. It is so crucial to make these small incremental changes. So create a healthy environment. Keep things clean and orderly. You know, when you get home, don't throw your clothing on the floor. Put it where it needs to go. Put in laundry, hang things up, create order. Because when you have order, you have a clear mind to think, to have strong willpower, to continue in the other endeavors. When things start falling apart around you, and there's messes, and you can't think straight. You're like, all you can think about is how, oh my God, I haven't done laundry in 2 weeks, and this is everywhere, and the toilet looks like a mess, and my sink is dirty, and like, I've got dishes in the sink. It's like, you can't think and stay clear on what you need to get done. Create a healthy living space. How beneficial it is for people to go to an office sometimes. And you know, this isn't for everybody, but it also is a thing where you show up to an office and it's clean. You're cluttered. You're away from your home environment. You are there to do your job and stay focused on the job. A lot of them limit phone time. The reason why is because you are in a productive mindset. You are in a clean environment. You are not surrounded by your cats and your clothing and your whatever things cloud your mind all day. Keep a clean environment. One book I can suggest if you're having trouble keeping a clean environment is Marie Kondo's book. It is incredible. The Magical Art of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. Go buy that book. It's small, it's tiny. She even has a television show on Netflix. You can learn to clean up your environment and change your life. I promise you. Okay guys, we're rearing to the end of this video. Thank you for staying with me. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, comment below, comment on books you want me to read, comment on your opinion of this book if you've read it, if you're going to read it. If you want, let's have a discussion. Let's talk about it, please. There is such thing as positive procrastination. You can have positive breaks in your day and still get a ton of stuff done. The thing I like about the 90-minute rule, let's say 90-10. 90 minutes, actually no. You need more time than that. 90-30. 90 minutes, productive, hard, focused time. Get it done. whatever you need to do, phone off, 90 minutes, focused, hyper-focused towards your goals. Then take a break. Take a necessary 30 minutes off, whether you need to go nap, maybe you need to replace your glucose levels, get your willpower up, because you need 2 90-minute periods at least every day. If you can create that, you will create astounding changes in your life. So 90 minutes on, 30-minute break. Some fuel, maybe a 15, 20-minute nap. Back at it. All right, guys, we did it. We have conquered Willpower by Roy F. Baumeister and John Tierney. Please go check out this book. If you guys like scientific studies, this is the business. If you don't, then get some willpower and finish it. It is worth it. I think I took a lot from this book. Happy I read it. It was a great journey, and I appreciate the findings of these gentlemen. So thank you so much. Stick around for my next one, guys. I'm going to be doing these weekly. I am back on track and feeling fired up, and I want to share what I'm learning with you guys, because I think it's important to share and educate, and the best teacher is to educate others, because you learn through that process. So read this book, pass it along, share it with your friends if you like it, leave a comment if you've read it. If not, go read it, leave me a comment if you liked it, if you gained something from it. Leave me any comments about what books you want me to read. I am open to adding to my long list of books. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for sticking around, and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Peace, love, hey.